Hello and welcome to this video on how to take apart a PC. I'm Chris Evans and I'll be instructing you on how to do so. First, what you need is a big screwdriver, small screwdriver, and optional, an anti-static wrist strap. Now what this does is protects your computer to any static which could have been built up through your body. Now in order to put this on, what you'll need to do is get your strap there, put it around your wrist, like so. Grab the wire, snip that bit onto the wrist strap there, and attach the crocodile clip to the body of the computer. Now what I'm going to do here is take off the side of the computer so I can snip on the crocodile clip. What you will find is there is on some computers a wire which is shown here. This is for the side panel fan. You want to make sure you take off this wire first to eliminate any possible damage to that wire. You need to remove the side cover and attach the crocodile clip to the side of the computer. This basically acts as a grounding wire. Now what we're going to start with today is the hard drive. Now you need to unscrew the hard drive, like so. Remove the wires for it, which includes the SATA cable if it's a SATA drive and the power lead. Next what you need to do is remove the SATA data cable from the motherboard and take out any wires which are stuffed down the back of your computer. By doing this it makes it much more quicker than doing it in the future. Now next what we're doing now is the ATX cable, the 24 pin one. Now sometimes on some motherboards this can be quite stiff to remove, so it may take a while. This is basically what powers all of the devices on the motherboard bar the CPU, which is on some motherboards powered by the 4-pin CPU power connector. Make sure you snip any cable ties which are tying down your cables, and make sure specifically that you do not cut any cables in the process, as this will result in you not being able to use your computer again. Next is the 4-pin CPU power connector, which powers the CPU, the central processing unit, for those who do not know. Next is the fan connectors. You want to remove these to make it easier for you to access the motherboard and the motherboard screws. Now the RAM, you need to press the two outside slot pins, which I call them, and lift out the stick of RAM. Just do this for any other sticks of RAM which you have in it. Next we're going to move on to the graphics card. Now you need to take out the screw which is holding down the graphics card. This is obviously determined as whether you have a graphics card or not. If you do not, then you need to skip the step. Now on some motherboards there is a little mechanism which stops you from removing the PCI Express card. Now what you need to do is activate that mechanism so you can take it out and simply pull out the card, like so. Put this to one side so you do not lose it. Now next up is the PSU, the power supply unit. There should be 4 screws or more holding down the power supply unit to the back of your PC case. You can remove these now. After these have been removed, you can remove the power supply unit from your PC case. And make sure you put this over to one side, nowhere near any other PC component. Now the CPU fan and heatsink, usually you need to remove these screws in a cross pattern to prevent any damage to the CPU or heatsink in the process. After you've done this, lift the heatsink off vertically and leave it upside down on one side. This will prevent any scoring or anything on the underside of the heatsink, which is usually in contact with the processor. Now the CPU, there's two ways of doing this. You can remove it on the motherboard when it's in the case or afterwards. I'm removing it on the motherboard here while it's in the case. Make sure you close the CPU bracket so you can prevent any damage to the CPU pins. Make sure you store the CPU on a non-conductive surface to prevent any damage to it. Now the front panel cables, when you remove these, make sure you pull them straight out and not at an angle to prevent any damage to the pins on the motherboard. These are basically the wires which connect the power switch on the front of your computer and the LEDs to the motherboard. Now next what we're going to do is remove the motherboard from the case. All you need to do is remove the screws which are connecting the motherboard to the case. After you've done this, simply lift the motherboard out of the case and place it over to one side, preferably on a non-conductive surface. And there is your video tutorial on how to disassemble a PC. I hope you enjoyed this. Please watch our other videos. Thank you.